Before there was Moana, there was Lilo and Stitch.
Cue the intro.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Aaron. We are continuing this top 10 series, and we are going into number 8 on our list.
Dang.
And if obviously the intro should have given you a hint, but our number 8 is none other than Lilo and Stitch. So yes, before there was a Moana, for all you little kids out there that think that maybe Moana was the first Hawaiian princess or Samoan princess, whatever out there, nah.
The OG.
Let me tell you a little something about Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch came out back in June 16, 2002 with a budget where our budgets are increasing, if you guys are noticing. So our budget for this movie was $80 million, and it grossed $273 million
Well-deserved.
in the box office. Well deserved. And so, Heido, what makes this movie so underrated, and why should it get more attention, so more love? Because some of you might be thinking, what do you mean? Lilo and Stitch does get a lot of love. There's so much merchandise for Stitch and all this kind of stuff and everything. It's like, well, yeah, you might be right, but honestly, Stitch is much more than just another purse for you ladies out there. Okay, I'm not trying to throw shade
or pillow or
I'm not trying to throw shade at you
there.
ladies out there that love Stitch, because I know there's a lot of girls out there that love Stitch, and I've seen so many like little purses, backpacks, and wallets and everything, all these kinds of stuff about Stitch and stuff. But this movie really brings out bigger, more themes than just that. So
yeah, and honestly, I think you hit a great topic. The fact is that a lot of us always talk about just Stitch, but as I was watching this movie again, what makes this movie really stand out and kind of like tug at your heart is Lilo and this whole theme around family. So this movie in particular has two great expositions. You first see the intergalactic, whatever you want to call it, Senate having this big old trial for this mad genius, and then they bring Stitch. And then obviously when he runs away, they say, they haven't even put any credits yet, they haven't even put the title of the movie yet, and they say, where is he gonna land? And he lands in Hawaii, out of all places. And when they say where, they bring in this beautiful theme about an authentic Samoan, I don't want to say Hawaiian dialect. And then that's where we're introduced now to Lilo. And Lilo is introduced as this very independent girl, swimming around, getting in there late, and you're kind of laughing and all that. You're like, oh, she's kind of clumsy. You think she's gonna be like your regular, typical, stereotypical Disney character, little girl that's cute and is gonna be clumsy, and everybody's kind of like, but no, it's like right away it gets deep, because the instructor that's in the dance is, why are you wet? And that's when it just hits you right in your gut, because she's a weirdo. She's a weird, unique kid, because she's like, I had to go feed the fish. And the feed a fish. She's like, yeah. And there was no peanut butter. And you know what? She said, well, my sister wanted me to feed her tuna fish. You know what's in tuna? And the teacher's obviously like, what? She's like, it's fish. It's like, what do you want me to do that to him? And so obviously all the kids are like making fun of her. She beats up one of the kids. And you're thinking,
so dope,
and you think like,
I
was laughing. Yeah, when she starts beating her up, I was like, whoa, what the heck? And I think it's funny. And at the beginning, you're like, well, this kid is just straight up weird. But when you find out why she's weird, you kind of feel for her, because you're like, she lost her parents. And so she's trying to figure out what's going to happen, how to carry on. I looked into what the word Lilo means, and overall, Lilo tends to mean lost, or the lonely one. So this is like a big theme. You have Lilo, that's name is either lost or the lonely one, and she names her dog, which in this case is Stitch, Stitch. Stitches are used to cure wounds. And so it's beautiful. And then I'll let you talk a little bit about this. When her and her sister are talking in the beginning, and I mean, this all happening still in the beginning of the movie. After she gets in trouble and everything with a social worker, they obviously hug because they fight. And it's like your classical sister fight. It's not cliche. It's just relatable. And so at night, she brings her food, and poor Lilo looks at her sister after she looks at the picture, which you eventually, spoiler alert, know that it's her parents and her family. And she basically tells her sister, we're a broken family, aren't we? And you're like, oh, damn it.
The movie is as a kid, you never see
don't
any of
appreciate
these
that.
things. You
No.
know, you don't appreciate any of these things. You know, and you get distracted by all these other great things. Obviously, I'm not saying there's bad. There's all these other great things. You know, we got these other aliens hunting him down and
Which
stuff
is also
and all
very
that stuff.
funny.
But you know, honestly, the real point or the real message of this movie is everything that you just said. You know, it's about family and it's about this little girl. You know, she should really be the one that people should focus on and not Stitch. But you know, whatever. You know, he's just as lost as his owner, Lilo. So that's the crazy or great part of it too. Also, you know, and it's kind of like they say, you know, like owner like pet, whatever type of thing. So. You know, you got these two characters, Lilo and Stitch, who are both lost, who both feel like no one really understands them. You know, no one really cares for them, but they find, you know, within each other or between each other, you know, that love of family that they both are seeking, or that love that they just seek. You know, there's someone to care for them, someone to just love them for who they are.
Let's talk a little bit about the humor. It's very sarcastic, awkward when Stitch and Lilo are kind of getting acquainted and stuff. Nani's like freaking out who the heck this thing is because she knows it's not a dog. And they wake her up. They're like, Nani, and she wakes up and they're like, watch. And they put Stitch's finger on the record player, open his mouth, and it starts playing music.
The music.
So the comedy is definitely very smart. And I think I'll end with this. I think one of the reasons why these past three movies, and especially this one, during the time it came out, because it came out in the early 2000s when a lot of animation wasn't getting praised as much, is because, again, you have the characters not singing. You know, you have a great score, but they're not your typical princess singing out to the wind. And so Disney is recognized for being basically great animated musicals. And this one is not one of them. This is one of those serious themes that the creator said, hey, I want to tell a good story about what happens when a family loses their parents, and then they get added to that family a messed up, weird, freaking creature and play with it in paradise.
And the family's complete.
Exactly. and then at the end, it basically finishes with Stitch recognizing and goes to his family when he's going to give himself up to the authorities and says, Ohana means family. This is my family. It's broken, but it's good. And he looks at them and he says, it's good. And so I think that's something we can all relate to. I mean, we all have families that are broken one way or another, but they're good.
Yeah.
Ohana means family.
I think that's it. I think that pretty much nails it, you guys. So, you know, next time you go and watch that Lilo and Stitch movie, next time you go and try to buy another Stitch backpack for
the movie
300th time, think about Lilo for once.
Yes.
Think about Lilo and remind your kids. If you got kids, you got little nephews, little nieces that think Moana is the first Hawaiian princess or Hawaiian Samoan character. No, you'd be like, no, let me show you some. And then put on that Lilo and Stitch on the TV and have them watch this movie, right? Because this movie is awesome, right? Yeah. So that's it for us today, guys. Again, my name is Aaron. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's Mr. J. Follow us on Instagram, studio_146. And tune in next week where we'll be discussing our number 7 pick. And just a little clue, this one actually does involve a princess. But what distinguishes it from other princess movies? And why is it underrated?
Oh.
Tune in next week and you'll find out.